Dr. Richard Okoye, I've had the opportunity to speak to you, at least we've had conversations for a period of time, at least over the years, and I've come to identify you with the Vision 2025, and you seek to improve Nigerians' life expectancy rate to 70 years. I want to know if now, with the reality on ground, whether that particular Vision 2025 is still tenable. Are we still looking at it the way you had it intended, or has the dates changed, or maybe the expectancy rate has reduced?
You mean whether I've changed my mind or I don't believe in the vision anymore? Okay, first of all, let me just appreciate you for having the time to, to come around. But the truth of the matter is that vision is not just someone, sleeping and come up with, what he saw in the dream. But I will agree with you that in a conventional mindset, along with already existing narrative over the years, when somebody has a vision and the things appear to be going contrary, yes, the tendency of saying it may not be and all that. But I take a leaf on that as part of human experience. Okay. Between 1865 and 1945, 80 years span, there happened to be a philosophy that was named 4-minute mile. Okay. 4-minute mile in the sense that the athletes within that 80 years span were not able to run for 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. So it was established thereafter that it is impossible for humans to run 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. So they call it 4-minute mile. All right. However, in 1954, a young medical student by the name Roger Bannister broke that averaging by being able to run in 3 minutes, 59.6 seconds. The irony of it, and what I tell you now, is what could be described as human mental limitation. Where, of course, having seen this, that looking at the criteria and what is required for you to establish life expectancy, yes, Dr. Okoye coming up to say 70 years by the year 2025, what does he think he knows? And what I know is what I have seen that is the rudimental cause of the problems and also the way out. And that's also what we already start playing around, playing now. But taking the story of a man, Roger Bannister, who was so determined, he broke that averaging, but the irony of it is that from that 1954 date, over 1,400 athletes has run 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. Meaning that most times people are meant to believe the word impossible based on the existing challenges. But one day there must be a man. And that's why I still believe that irrespective of what we may see as a current picture, for sure, 2025, Nigeria must sing a new song when it has to do with healthcare delivery.
I must ask this question though. How is it that you have such strong faith and believe in your Vision 2025 with the realities of what we have on ground? If you don't mind, could you share some key areas of the things that you see in the healthcare system as it is now that has continued to provide you the strength to believe in Vision 2025?
Yeah, in terms of the analysis of the current situation or overall Nigerian healthcare challenges, the vision we have actually carry 2 arms, and the first arm is being able to identify the fundamental cause of our healthcare status being in the way it is, vis-a-vis what is obtainable elsewhere, and also what are the way out or the way forward in that direction. So having identified these 2 factors, that's what exactly emboldened me, irrespective of any form of contrary analysis to all that. But the fundamental cause of healthcare globally, but our traditional and religious narrative made it worse here is the aspect that has to do with healthcare information. Health information is not available because of our fathers of medicine. I usually hold them accountable to an extent in that very area. Because in the course of achieving what I describe as monopoly, our fathers of medicine had a kind of fraternity by making it like, let it be something known and maybe you can maximize whatever be the purpose. But they sat down and coiled the medical terminologies in a manner that there's no way a common man, except to pass through that school, put your mind in it, irrespective of the title, you will remain a novice in it. All right. So that's why you're looking at a doctor. A doctor may tell you that you are having malaria. Instead of telling you frankly, you are having malaria, we tell you are having plasmodiasis. All right. Or you look at also dictionary. The longest word in dictionary is a disease. It's called pneumono-ultramicroscopic siliconovolcanosis. All right. Can I now say, may such long grammar be a portion? You know what will happen? Even if I write prescription, you withdraw the prescription and buy coffee because you assume with that long
that this disease is
you already in purgatory, just waiting to go the other way around. But that's just more or less, a chemical intoxication that could happen following volcanic eruption. But see the way it was coined. Yeah. So that's the reason why most people will get to see a doctor. After doctor will talk to them the much he could, he will write prescription, sometimes even shorthand. The handwriting become different from what crazy things as it were, and the patient will come out. Ask that very patient, what did the doctor say you have? You say, do I know? This is the fundamental cause of the health misinformation we have in our society. At that particular point, you give the patient the drug. The patient is not taking this drug because he may have taken 1 or 2 days, no show. But doctor knows that he may need to take this very drug for a period of 7 to 10 days before the effect will be seen in it. After 1-2 days, he didn't even understand why he should continue. He will drop it, and soon after, somebody will say, no, there's one concussion that will do a miracle. All right, some will now tell you, this thing you are suffering is not a medical problem. It is more of a spiritual problem. So you now make a move towards going for a spiritual cause of your problem. That's why we hardly have cancer survivors in this country. Because before they will go the route of all those alternative opinions and the spiritual thing, before they come, cancer had metastasized everywhere. All right. So we identify that fundamentally that there is education problem. There is ignorance is the root of all we are suffering. And that's why we said, okay, let's decode these medical terminologies in a way that a common man should be able to access it. And that caused the issue of going for the outreach program, engaging in medias and all that. But now, communicating the health information in a way that a common man will understand it. It's an amazing testimony. When somebody is saying, okay, we are the life expectancy of 70 years, things, but people are getting to know what to do and what should not be done. You see some women that used to have fibroid will be bleeding. You see another, but at the end of the day, we call and said, I listened to you on radio, I listened to you on television, and I got the courage to go for the surgery. And I did the surgery, I'm very fine. I thank God for you. We are saved one. You say there will be joy in heaven over one that is saved. So that one that would have otherwise been in the other side of the divide is today living on the course. So we are making positive
improvements.
Exactly. Do you understand? So in addition to that also, we identify the aspect that has to do with communities. by reason of population, more of the population are resident in rural communities more than it is in urban communities. Unfortunately, 70% of doctors are in urban communities and not in the rural communities. Do you understand? So you find out that the reason why we have highest rate of maternal mortality, neonatal and infant mortality is because in most local governments in Nigeria, there's no single pediatrician. So what will be the fate of the children having bronchopneumonias or having meningitis or having something that is related to convulsion and some of that? Most of them will suffer that and they're gone. So we identified that and we discovered that with the aid of technology, which we have been able just to put in place right now, we'll tell you more about that. By the grace of God, it will be possible that the healthcare coverage, the primary healthcare, which is the major problem of the government that have existed, the solution of that is available today. Where professional health information could be made available to those ones in rural community. And that's why we first of all work out the issue of Dr. Save a Life app. Yes. That very app, we design it in such a way that apart from making it a common man's language, at least it could be accessible. That if there be any emergency, if there be any healthcare problem, somebody could just use the phone, which most of us now have, and could be able to say, this is the actual thing happening to me before thinking about the unknown. These are the positives we have been able to put in place, and why we are confident that it's going to work out. But also the element that has to do with this unfortunate brain drain, the brain drain in the sense that is a call for health emergency, very serious health emergency. Every government, the current government and even the government to come should realize we right now heading towards healthcare tsunami in this country. In the last 2 years, a Nigerian Medical Association, also by statistics, has shown that 9,000 healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, have left the country in the past 2 years. So, looking at that, you shouldn't forget that for a single doctor, World Health Organization stated that for a country to be considered healthcare covered, that it should be one doctor to at least about 600 patients. But in this side of the world, unfortunately, we have one doctor to 6,000.
10 times the normal.
Yes. So with that kind of development, what will be the future of the system? And that is also what we're trying to use technology to support, while believing God that the government of the day and the day to come will be able to look into more critically. Yeah.
All right.
The best country to be is a country rich in problems. And those problems are there looking for those that will solve them to become billionaires. And you can be one of them.
Many say there is no hope for Nigeria. There is no hope for Africa. Join me to meet an icon of our time that says otherwise. Meet Dr. Richard Okoye, the chairman of Save a Life Group, the pioneer of the first modern dialysis and kidney transplant facility in the South, South and Southeast regions of Nigeria. In his effort and determination to revolutionize healthcare delivery in Africa, Dr. Richard became the first medical doctor cum tech guru to build the first fully digitalized hospital in the world with EMR that operates robotically and offers more accurate diagnosis and treatment than the human brain. With the aid of radio frequency, Save a Life Home Clinic app delivers professional health solutions to remote communities where there is no internet and access to medical professionals. Dr. Richard is the founder of the first medical app, Dr. Save a Life app, that operates in different languages, including Nigerian major languages. He also established the ISO-certified group of hospitals, Save a Life Mission Hospitals, with zero hospital-acquired infection status, equipped with the first digital cath lab in Nigeria for heart, neuro and cardiovascular diseases, kidney dialysis and transplant facility, spine, orthopedic and painless minimal knee replacement surgeries, laparoscopic and endoscopic procedures, IVF and ICSI. In what seemed impossible, Dr. Okoye has reversed medical tourism, with Europeans and Americans trooping down to Nigeria for satisfactory healthcare delivery.
It's a very beautiful hospital. The furnishings, the equipment, everything is a really nice hospital. I'll be happy to register my family here, my children here, and continue having my health checked here.
I'm based in Los Angeles, California. I'm also a medical worker. I had this fibroid, and the fibroid was so big. In America, they told me, oh, I cannot get out the fibroid without my uterus coming out. I made research and I came across this wonderful hospital, Save a Life Mission Hospital.
My name is Julie Okomose Kapmaya. I'm from Edo State, Benin City, but I've lived in Netherlands all my life, half of my life, let me say. About the health challenge I'm having, I have a fibroid issue, and I was actually afraid to do it in Netherlands. The doctor advised me over there to actually remove the womb or take it out, so I'm afraid. Well, I read about Dr. Save a Life on the internet. I decided to come to Nigeria to do the surgery here.
But finally, I came to the hospital. I was shocked with the kind of reception I received, from the security to everybody. Is shocked. I thought I was in America. They made the right decision and they saved my womb. Within few hours, everything was all done.
And I came, and the surgery was very, very successful. My eyes were wide open while they were doing the surgery, and it lasted for just 1 hour, and we were playing music, conversation was going on, and everything went fine. And then I came out of the theater an hour later, and then took me to my room, and I've been recovering, and it's been a very fine journey all through, and I'm very happy I did it.
I thank Dr. Richard Okoye, who and I thank God I gave him the ability to take what he saw out there, brought it into this country, and even did it in a bigger way than we expected. I'm so grateful.
Dr. Okoye is set to launch the first digital medical university and research institute, which includes, among others, specialties, medical hardware and software technology. He is also the president of Dr. Save a Life Foundation, a non-governmental organization that has helped thousands of indigent patients in medical treatment in Nigeria and abroad. He has also supported various hospitals in healthcare improvement and equipment. As part of his human capital development vision, he has sponsored the training of doctors and nurses in super specialty courses abroad. He also supports his over 350 staff with various incentives and generously rewards excellence. He is the author of 24 best-selling books and the presenter of the popular TV show You and Your Health, airing in Nigeria and Ghana. He is also a back-page columnist with Business Day newspaper in Nigeria. He is now on a mission to improve the Nigerian life expectancy to 70 years by the year 2025. Many say there is no hope for Nigeria, no hope for Africa. We have among us today a man that says otherwise. Join me to celebrate an icon of our time, Dr. Richard Okoye.
Dr. Richard Okoye, if there's anything I learned today is that nothing is impossible. Obviously, we have a health system that doesn't have a grasp of the realities on ground. So what advice would you give to this current administration and to the government that is incoming?
Yeah, it is, number one thing is that if you have a problem, you need to identify and accept the fact that you have a problem. All right? And I want to thank the Ministry of Health and also the federal government for constituting the health reform, because this is something that is overdue. The health reform committee, I believe maybe the time may not be available for this current administration to be able to do good implementation, but I encourage them to do a thorough job. The healthcare situation in the country is in a very challenging stage, and something has to be done on that. And to lend in, to lend a voice or something they may look into is, number one is that the government of now or the government to come, and use the word the government to come because of course budgeting is almost over for that, is the aspect that has to do with funding of the healthcare. The funding of the healthcare. In 2001, in April 2001, the African head of states had a meeting in Abuja and came up with a communique agreeing that all African nations should budget at least 15% of their budget on healthcare to see how the African healthcare development can be boosted. Regrettably, over the years, this is almost 20 years running, we have not even come close. We still have an average of 4 point something. The highest of them was in 2012, 5.9%, simply because what you don't put value, you don't spend on it. So the area of funding is very, very fundamental. One of the things I also like the committee, to look into critically, is that we are no longer in the world of, we're no longer in the world of secluded market. Okay. Secluded market in the sense that a doctor is in your country, and it's only like what is obtainable between hospital to hospital and all that. But the market space has enlarged, become global. So you are no longer competing among yourself, you are also competing among the larger market that is outside there. Because a number of countries, look at what happened during COVID. UK opened up the door without visa. Come over to UK, and our people pull. While they are pulling, we are getting deficient. Yeah. And a number of countries will only just say, come on visa and arrival. And all those things. Some of these things are the major competition that healthcare, Nigerian healthcare system is facing. It's not facing a nuclear condition right now. Yeah. Because the same way you are paying this person, say I will pay you, another company abroad is also giving an offer. Yes. So these are some of the things that I'm very much optimistic that this committee should be able to look into in terms of the healthcare funding, in terms of understanding the true picture, most importantly, the demographic distribution of these very doctors we say we have. Yes. And in addition, knowing that it's no longer the market we need to know, and something has to be done to be able to preserve our own.
Dr. Okoye, I need to take you back a bit here. You mentioned earlier that in fixing the issue of deployment of doctors to rural areas, that technology will have to solve that problem. If you don't mind, please expound on that a bit. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it can be said to be self-denial. If anybody don't get to see the challenges and the limitations doctors face, operating in rural communities. All right, the issue of insecurity is there, the issue of welfare. You may hardly see even a pediatrician, or in fact, if you see any pediatrician in a local government, he must be on a missionary journey and must be on a missionary journey and may be called by God. Yes, to sacrifice. Just to be in position to that. So looking at those the economic situation, the security and all that, it is obvious that it's gonna get worse. So more people, these people are most likely to be left with, without health coverage. So, but while looking at the statistics of such development in the United States, I also found that about 187 hospitals right now in US, they are shut down. They are shut down, particularly those one in the outskirts of most of the cities. You know, so most blacks, after Donald Trump tend to open people's eyes, you know, didn't want to go there again. And additionally, COVID made things worse. So most of those people, most of those hospitals get shut down. You know, so I was just looking at a scenario in that regard. So what will be the fate of those people living in those communities out there in US? And immediately it was also dawned on me that a similar situation, people in different local government and different communities also will have similar situation. So that actually got me thinking. Yeah. And I realized that with the use of radio frequency, you know, radio frequency can travel up to 100 kilometers, but microwave tend to go longer. So that with the aid of radio frequency, I can transmit internet from the city to a rural community where there is no internet. Okay. So I came back and I tried it from my hospital down to my house. Mm-hmm. My house doesn't have any internet on it, but same internet I use in my hospital, by reason of radio frequency, I was able to get it also connected to my house. So when I said, if that could happen also, then rural community. So that's how we were able to work on rural community coverage. So while the telemedicine center will be in the city where doctor will be, whatever he's doing, the people over there in the community could be able to have access to him, have access to their professional drug. Thousands and millions of lives will be saved in our time. And as a matter of fact, the issue of primary health care, which has been the cause of all this deplorable state of our life expectancy, is already solved.